It's on the shotgun mic.
Okay.
I'm not on.
Yeah, levels are solid. Okay. Yeah.
Do you guys want to test? Just say a couple words.
Words? Can you hear me? Is everything cool?
Yeah, just do a quick introduction. And,
To say what? Like, hi, I'm Chris?
yeah.
Hi, I'm Chris Eliopoulos. This is Eric Larson.
Hey man, how's
we
it
do
going?
comics.
So we wanted to ask you guys about the transition of comic books in general. We had the 90s boom when everything was just surging.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was
I like
the best.
that the best.
Can we do
More
that
of
again?
that, please.
More, please.
So how do you think film has really impacted comics over the years? Do you think it's more of a negative influence with film maybe degrading the value of what comics essentially were back at one time, or
They're just something different. More people know what the comic characters are. I don't know if they're necessarily translating to readers, but
It kind of depends on the book. Some it really does translate. I know with The Walking Dead, when that blew up, that the comic was already on a roll, but it just accelerated that much more.
first comics my kid read were Walking Dead because they watched the show. So.
do you think fans maybe have kind of went more towards film in general for their origin stories for characters, and they're kind of losing what the true origins and where they came from, and as far as comic books?
Well, I don't think anybody who starts by going to the movies knew the history so much, but it's fine. I mean, as long as they know the characters and they like them, and brings them in the readers, you know.
Yeah,
I'd rather see them.
it all helps. We all need some kind of introduction to this stuff to get into it. There's some people get into reading comics just by going. I watched it as a Saturday morning cartoon, and that's what got me into doing it this way. And it's whatever it takes, man.
Have you seen more of a boom for Savage Dragon since maybe like just comic books have surged with film in general and things like that?
There was a Savage Dragon cartoon in the 90s.
Right.
That sure helped a lot. But at this point, I don't know that Spider-Man being popular necessarily helps Savage Dragon. It doesn't necessarily translate that way. It doesn't necessarily cross things like that. But people find a way.
And it brings them more to conventions.
It does bring them more.
So
to
at least they can find us, like here, as opposed to not knowing about comic book. Nobody knows there's comic book stores, but now they do because of movies and stuff. So maybe it helps.
It's
them
also helped that things can get into bookstores now, where there weren't really much in the way of comic books in bookstores for years, but because suddenly there's these films and stuff like that, we're able to kind of go, why don't you carry The Walking Dead here, or why don't you carry this, and that just kind of breaks things in and gets into that other market. That all helps.
Have you kind of seen a resurge or interest in like Savage Dragon since it was kind of popular in the 90s? Like a lot.
Well, I know there are people asking about doing movies now, which wasn't happening before. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's like, well, this is popular over here. This other stuff, Marvel's got all this stuff tied up. Warner's stuff's tied up. So if somebody wants to get into the superhero business, there's not that many other available, viable superhero comics out there. So it's like, all right, suddenly people are telephoning, which is good.
If you were going to make a Savage Dragon film today, do you have any actors in mind that you would want to play the lead role?
I mean, initially it was Bruce Willis, but at this point, time's gone on, and it's like I don't know that you want to start with a guy who's as old as he is. You know, we'll find somebody. There are young guys who could pull it off, and there's kind of a list that I keep being shown. So it's like, all right. People always suggest The Rock, which is like, all right, I can see that.
Can you tell us anyone who has shown like interest in?
I'm not at liberty to do that. No, that's not. And you don't want to announce things that
may not happen.
That may not happen, or prematurely. You know, it's like, now I'm.
Well, that happened with me. I have a book, Cowboy, that's out, and it got optioned by DreamWorks. But we knew for like 2 years, and we didn't say anything, and then somebody leaked it online. But that's another thing. I've got a deal with DreamWorks, so they're interested in comics, which is interesting. You know, it's like sort of reversed away. You know, like it used to be, we were always trying to be the movies. Now the movies are trying to be the comics, so which is always helpful.
How do you think the fan base is versus the strong comic book fan base back in, say, probably the surge from like the 80s and 90s to today. Do you feel that maybe it's a different fan base that might not know about the characters as much?
I don't think it matters. I mean, I'm happy to see a 15-year-old girl walking around dressed as like Miss Marvel and excited about the whole medium than anybody. Like, so I'd rather see the influx of different demographics. I think that's the greatest thing, is that we're seeing so many women, so many different age groups coming in. That's the best part of the years now.
Yeah, it's really changed a lot. It was very, very heavily superheroes in the 90s, and there weren't any other kind of comics. And that was one of the complaints of comics for years, is that it had become so focused on superheroes. That's all Marvel or DC could sell. And if they tried anything else, it didn't do very well. And now you've got companies like Image Comics, which are just doing almost nothing, almost no superheroes, very little of that. They've got Spawn, Savage Dragon, Invincible, and then most of the other stuff they're doing is stuff for other audiences, and it's just going crazy. So it's awesome.
So overall impact, you would say that it's probably a positive influence for TV?
I think generally speaking, it's a positive influence. It raises awareness of the stuff, and they both kind of feed off of each other in a way. And that movies kind of look at comics as, hey, the storyboards are already done.
Yeah, R&D is done for you.
Yeah, no, it's there. There's something I can physically look at. And it's a lot easier to visualize what this is going to be when you can see something and it's there in front of you than when you're just reading a book. So it works well in that, and then the opposite is like, oh, now it's being exposed to people who wouldn't see it otherwise. So it all kind of works together.
Well, we want to thank you guys so much for your time. This is great insight.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
One last question. For someone who's not as familiar with Savage Dragon, can you just explain a little bit about what it is and what it's about? And just tell them.
Tell them.
Tell them.
Well, because the camera's there.
Okay. What's Savage Dragon?
Savage Dragon. Savage Dragon is a superhero comic. It's about a guy who is a superpowered character who is found in a burning field with no memory of his past. He's recruited by the Chicago police to become their first superpowered police officer to fight against the forces of evil. But the book is set in real time, so as time's gone on, the characters have gotten older and things have progressed. The book's been going on now for 23 years, so currently the book stars the original Dragon's son, Malcolm Dragon, who just graduated from high school and will be joining the Chicago police force himself in the next few months.
That was an elevator pitch.
Not bad, huh?
Never again.
Well, thank you guys so much.
You're quite welcome, guys.
Have a good one.
Yeah, good stuff.